John Martin here with you on Mazone HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association with head lacrosse coach Shelley Klaes-Bawcombe. Coach, first off, congratulations. 2 wins last weekend, 2 big conference wins over Towson and Delaware. Now that you've had a chance to go back, take a little bit of a look at the film, decompress a little bit, give me your assessment of those 2 wins.
Well, I think that they were both excellent, and they both came in different ways. So, starting with the Towson game, I was really pleased with our resilience after their first 2 goals. They come out, they get the first 2 draws, they score right away, and put us on our back heels, and our team really had to surge and determine what they were going to do about that. And we got draw controls right away, found the back of the net right away against a really strong defensive team and a really strong goaltender. And, from that moment on, I felt like things were just clicking for JMU. Our passing game was really polished. We were sharing the ball really well, really decisive with our choices on attack. Our ground ball prowess was excellent in that game. I thought we dominated the loose ball possessions. And then defensively, we just really locked it down and held them scoreless for, I believe it was a good 40 minutes within that game after those first 2 goals. So, just really pleased with how tight we were, how sharp we were, and their ability to execute when it mattered. I think that Towson was able to find some passion towards the end of the game, but at that point we had made a decision to get some fresh legs on the field, start, allowing some of our players to start the recovery process because we had put our team in position to win early. So really, really just pleased with the overall play of JMU on Friday night, and I think that we proved that we have the ability to come out regardless of opponent and bring the energy that we need. On Sunday, it was a very different game. Delaware absolutely came in with the game plan to try to slow things down, try to take us out of our element. JMU's really fast this year. We really have tremendous presence on the attacking end, and I think that, Delaware's just trying to keep the ball out of our stick. So once we kind of settled into that style of game, I think it took a lot of composure and mentality, strong mentality, to be able to combat that slow-paced game. But I was really pleased with the effort defensively. I thought that we did a great job of maintaining our composure. I thought the game was called pretty tightly by the officials, but we didn't let that get to us. Delaware was on the 8-meter line a lot. I think they had 11 8-meter shots, but only finished 2 of them. And that's a credit to this defensive unit that they were able to handle those fouls and come out of it on top, I thought we did really well in the draws all weekend long. And offensively, it was a challenge for our team to be watching Delaware's offense hold the ball for 3 to 5 minute long possessions, and then have the composure when our offense had a chance to have the ball on their stick, do what they needed to do to come out on top. And I think that in the end of the game, with the last 10 minutes of the game, I thought you saw our leaders just really step up. We did a great job of executing when the game was on the line.
And that was 2 of the things I saw was, one, they're holding it for those long periods and you're having to play defense and wondering, is that going to be tiring down the end? It seemed like the conditioning was great still down at the end. They still had fresh legs. But what does it really say about your team that you get to that 6-6 point late in the game and they're the ones executing and making it happen, knowing that full well, now that we know that you're probably going to see, you were probably at that point, now we know you're going to see that Delaware team again on their home field in the CAA semis.
I think there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes here, learning how to talk to themselves, learning how to encourage the right mentality from their teammates. And I think that the leadership within this program this year is really contagious, and I think everyone felt it. When we have the ball, we're in control, and we needed to win draws, we needed to win loose balls, and put our team in position to make the plays. And I'm just really proud of the team. We're not relying on any one player. Didn't have to have that ball in Stephanie's stick at the end of the game to win. It's just a really unselfish team, and it takes a lot of pressure off the coaches and the players that are out on the field to just allow them to step up in the moment and take what the defense gives us.
And that was the thing. You got down. They get the draw control up. You're up 8-6. Delaware gets the draw control, and then you force the turnover and basically run out the clock. How much of a composure and a confidence builder is it that all of a sudden we were able to take that last segment and not let them back into the game at the end?
Well, I think it shows progress. Same situation occurred last year at Delaware. I believe the score was 10-8 instead of 8-6. We had a 2-goal lead. We had the ball with about 3.5 minutes, maybe even 4 minutes left to go in the game, and we had a player take a shot that was unwarranted when we had a lead of 2 goals with limited time left to go in the game. And Delaware made us pay last year. They went down, they scored right off of it. All of a sudden, it's a 1-goal game. And in the game of lacrosse, anything can happen because of draw control possession. So I was really, really pleased to see our team make a change, understand time and score, and that their stick work and their composure to hold possession was tremendous. So I'm really proud of them.
We talked a little bit on Friday, shift back to the Towson game briefly. You were shocked when I told you 40 minutes that you had held Towson scoreless. Have you ever been around a situation where a team has just been on lockdown like that, where you guys had found a way to just take them out of their element?
I think it's happened a couple of different times this year. With Elon, we had a bunch of periods throughout the game where we held them scoreless. Liberty was the same way. Maryland was the same way in the second half. I think it was a good 20-minute stint where we held them scoreless. Our team, I think gets on momentums and really just kind of rides that train. And a lot of it has to do with just being focused on the moment. And, I think that we've been working really hard this year to never be too high or never be too low and never think that the game is over until the horn blows. So, I think that, the ability to focus on the task at hand and the moment as it comes, I think has been a huge asset to this program this year. And I think that's why we're seeing some really strong defensive effort, from the JMU squad this year.
Now you're into the last two weeks, really. You've got the 1 week leading up to William and Mary and the week leading up to the CAA semifinals. Are you where you want to be as a team right now as you look to those, and what progress do you look for in those last 2 weeks leading up to it?
Well, I think that, I think we can still get better. I think that we're still finding some different options within our offense. We're still seeing different people click on the defensive end. We've absolutely secured who our core group is right now, but 2 weeks is a long time at this time of the year, and I think it gives us a lot of opportunity to continue to tweak some things, maybe create some different options, and just try to take a look at what we can do to put some teams on their back heels going into the postseason play. So, no, I don't think we are where we need to be. I think that we have a lot of opportunity to continue to improve. I think this team feels really fresh right now. A lot of times at this time of year, we're hurting, we're pretty banged up. We're having to limit a lot of people within practices to get out of them what we need, and we don't have that this year. So I'm excited to see this team continue to push and get better day by day.
You talked about it being a team effort over this last weekend, but two of your players recognized by the CAA, Allie Kerwin, CAA Offensive Player of the Week, Skylar Healy, CAA Defensive Player of the Week. Talk about their play and how much you've just seen them grow overall.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge to get any one player recognized from JMU this year because everyone's sharing the statistics and we don't necessarily have one key player that's blowing it up. We have a lot of players who are doing a lot of damage. So the fact that, Allie Kerwin was able to come out on top through two really key games this weekend, I think shows just her strength on the field. She's able to morph her impact into whatever the game, calls for. She's able to step up on the draw for us. She's able to win a lot of ground balls for us. On the attacking end, she can be a support player really easily and just move the ball and use her vision, or she can be somebody that drives and tries to draw traffic to her to dish, or she can be the one to receive inside the 8 and finish. So, really pleased with her versatility on the attacking end, and I think that she capitalized on her chances this weekend. But then on the defensive end, she's such a huge part of the communication and the vision. And both teams this weekend do a really good job of drawing traffic and then getting the ball to the backside and trying to hold the defensive unit accountable for those early slides. And Allie was a huge factor in us being able to cover the backside this weekend and send slides at the right time. So just really pleased with her consistency overall and her ability to morph into whatever role we need her to be for that particular game. She's doing a great job of supporting Steph as Steph draws a lot of the attention, and, just really, really pleased with her unselfishness. Skylar Healy, on the other hand, consistency has been a thorn on her side up until this year, and, she's really focused in on the preparation so that on game day she can be confident. And this year she's done a lot more work, and I think that that's a credit to her, and I think it's a credit to the environment around her that forces her to do the work. She's got to, keep up with the Joneses. And I think, again, the people in front of her are helping her look good. Lexi Cross had a great weekend, marking up on number 45 from Towson and then number 8 from Delaware, and really putting them in a position to take poor shots that Skylar can then save, or to give hashes that are not necessarily the best hashes for 8 meters. So, not only Lexi is playing well, but Casey Starkloff is playing well, Hanover Shore is playing well, Carter, Rafe Snyder, Alex Revel. We have so many different defenders who are coming in and helping these individual players like Allie and Skylar shine. So, I'm really pleased with the total team effort, and in the end, one person has to be chosen, and this week it was Skylar and Allie, so credit to them for coming out on top.
Yeah, Skylar with back-to-back 10-save matches, but as we've talked, a lot of credit to the defense. When you've got Christina McCarthy, she only gets 1 goal, and she's up among the league leaders, and you just take her out of the flow for Delaware, it makes an impact on what they're trying to do and makes an impact on the entire game.
Yeah, and I think you're referring to Caitlin McCartney from,
Caitlin,
Christina McCartney plays for the Dukes, but
Caitlin,
she's also playing
apologies.
well. She's also playing well, and gives us a lot of depth. So you're exactly right. We're, as a unit, we're not having to worry so much about markups. Obviously, you want key players on key players, but there are going to be times where you have to switch and defend the 8 meter and take on the burden as a team. And this year, I think that we've been able to not have to overthink markups because the team has done such a good job of supporting each other and backing each other up.
And Healy, they make a great impact for Healy to have that vision up front and give her lanes just like a hockey goalie to see the ball coming. But she still had a couple of, jaw-dropping and ooh and ah saves this weekend that had the entire press box going, wow. Looking ahead, William and Mary this week to close out the CAA play, what are you expecting out of the Tribe and what are you expecting out of the Dukes?
Well, the Tribe, this is their last ditch effort. They are not getting to postseason play. This is their last game of the season, I'm assuming. So I'm expecting them to really have no pressure and be really loose. And sometimes that can be a really dangerous situation for the JMU team to come into. Pairing that with the fact that one of their assistant coaches is a former captain of mine in Amanda Matthews, they have a really strong inside look at our team and what we're doing. So it's a dangerous game to have, I think, at the end of your season when the table is set for the CAAs and we have to be careful to not look past this game this weekend. They're going to run a lot of players. They're going to sub a lot. They're going to try to work us in between the 30s. So we're going to have to be on point. We're going to have to be sharp conditioning-wise, and we're going to have to be willing to do the work. They're a very strong draw control team, so that's going to be something that we're going to have to take a look at. Again, I think it's all about executing on the defensive end and the attacking end. And when we don't finish plays, just like anyone, one, you can easily allow a team to compete with you, even though on paper you might feel you're the better team. So, I think that we have to really take a hard look at how important this game is this weekend. Even though it doesn't have implications on our seed, it has a huge impact on us peaking at the right time, building our confidence, and just our ability to show for every game, regardless of the opponent. So I look forward to this weekend. It's an opportunity to feel good about competing on that William & Mary field. Considering we lost in overtime last year, I hope the girls still have that feeling on that field of unsettled feeling, an unfinished business feeling, and walk away with the win, building our confidence and our momentum going into the CAA play.
Now, I remember a couple of weeks ago, last question, and we're not going to talk about CAAs because that's the following week. We talked a couple of weeks ago about draw controls and how you were still searching to find your group. It seems like in the last 2-3 matches, you found your core group to really establish the draw control for you guys.
Yeah, I'm pleased. We have some great height. We have some great strength. And really good hands. It's just getting more confident with where you're placing the ball and knowing what your options are against the different pushers or pullers and that we're going to see in the CAA. And then on top of that, it's just being more comfortable with the people and the options that you're putting around the circle and coming off the restraining line. So we do. We feel like we've done a really good job over the last couple of weeks using the opponents that we've had to build our foundation, know what our core is on the draw so that we can go into postseason play having a really good idea. To be able to come out on top of the weekend for Towson and Delaware and lead in draws, I think is a really good step in the right direction and should build some confidence for our program.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you taking the time today, and we'll talk with you next week.
All right, thank you.
Again, Head Coach Shelley Klaes-Bawcombe of the JMU Lacrosse program here on Mazone HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association.